Well, good afternoon folks, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again with another scenery review. This time we're in Finland, and you're looking at Tampere-Pirkkala Airport in Finland, Echo Foxtrot Tango Papa. This is the first payware scenery from a gentleman called ADRIEN SEPPANEN. He's known as the Rudolph on Flightsim.to, which is where you can also find his first scenery. This is version 1, the release version, and it's for both the PC and Xbox versions of Flightsim 2020. The download is 285.5 meg, and it installs at 405 meg, so it's not huge, but quite a nice scenery, easily to fit into your community folder. It's currently available only from Flightsim.to, and I'll give you the price. It's £11.22 UK, which equates to roughly €13.17 or $14.54 US. The Euro and US prices are estimates taken from the UK pound, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course could vary depending on your purchase location. So this is Adrian's first scenery. He's a student, and he's hoping to help finance the costs of his studies by releasing a scenery. It's a nice project, to be honest. I haven't seen a scenery for Tampere yet for Flightsim 2020, so I think this is the first, and to be honest, it's quite nicely done. He sent me a copy very nicely for evaluation, asked me to have a look at it and review it. Having looked over it, it's great. It's a lovely location. You've got the military area and everything done as well. And talking about that, let's look at the features of the scenery. So features, you have a fully developed and detailed rendition of Tampere-Pirkkala Airport. You've got a complete fence line with the mandatory razor wire on top. The airside main ramp is fully modelled with parking and signage and clutter. Landside is also fully modelled with the car parks, road signs, cars and roads also done in 3D. Apron 3 is also fully modelled as well. Both terminals have basic modelling with parallaxing on the windows. You have the military aprons 1, 2, 3 and 4 all modelled. Some military hangars are open for exploration. The original GA area is also highly detailed. Exquisite and quite subtle night and dusk lighting, and you have also some exclusive features and hidden gems to be discovered in the scenery. So there's a lot to this, even though it's a small download and it doesn't look too heavily detailed. There's quite a bit to this, and like I said, as far as I can see, this is the first rendition of Tampere as a payware outside project for Flightsim 2020. So that being said, let's look at some history now. So history, Tampere-Pirkkala Airport, Echo Foxtrot Tango Papa, or simply Tampere Airport, is a public/military use international airport actually operated by the Finavia company. The airport is located in Pirkkala, Finland, 8 miles or 13 kilometers southwest of Tampere city centre. The airport is the 6th busiest airport in Finland by passenger numbers, and the 3rd busiest when measured by the number of international passengers. The airport's also home to the Satakunta Air Command Base of the Finnish Air Force, with F-18 Hornets being stationed at the airport until the middle of 2014, when the 21st flight of the Satakunta Air Command was dissolved. Tampere Airport was founded in 1936 in Hamala neighbourhood, located about 3.7 miles or 6 kilometres from the centre of Tampere. At that time, the airport was connected to Helsinki, Vaasa, Oulu and Kami by Aero Oscar Yankee, which is now Finnair. The first terminal building was built in 1941. The airport's single runway was actually paved in 1958. The current Terminal 1 building was completed in 1996, and Ryanair began flights to Tampere in April of 2003 with destinations to Stockholm Skavsta, London Stansted, Frankfurt Hahn and Riga. Wizz Air also operated flights to Gdansk in Poland during the summers of 2010 and 11, and Air Baltic operated flights to Riga from March 2017. The low-cost airline Terminal 2 was renovated in 2014-15, and on the 14th of December 2021, Air Baltic announced that its first secondary hub outside of the Baltic countries would be established at Tampere Airport from May 2022. In March 2023, Finnair announced it would end flights between Tampere and Helsinki and replace them with a bus service, mainly due to low demand and short distance. In April 2015, Ryanair announced that it would cancel all the routes from Tampere for the winter season 2015-16 due to a plane shortage. Then, only routes to Bremen and Budapest resumed in the spring of 2016. However, in late 2023, Ryanair terminated the route to London Stansted, ending 20 years of service. 2022 saw over 168,000 passengers use the airport. So there's some history for you. It's still an international airport with a few flights, mostly seasonal, even though some of the services that were here for some time have now kind of finished. Okay, so there we go. Let's look at runways now. Okay, runways. So Tampere-Pirkkala Airport operates a single runway 2406, measuring 8,858 feet or 2,700 meters, and is constructed from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 391 feet or 119 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 2 hours time zone. Now, Finland does indeed observe daylight saving time or DST, and with the UK currently also on DST 1 hour ahead of GMT UTC, Tampere Airport is just 2 hours ahead of the UK. So runway 2406, both ends, we're currently looking down the throat of runway 24, but both ends of the runway feature high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And you can also see, as per the chart, they have extensive approach lighting system available too. So approaches for this runway, standard instrument landing system with Y and Z options. You also have an RNP approach option and a VOR approach option. So those are the approaches available for runway 24. So let's have a look at the other end, runway 06. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 06, the other end. And here you can see exactly the same as 24, high intensity airfield lighting, high intensity runway lighting, and you have PAPIs on the left, of course. Now, approaches for runway 06, you only have the RNP and VOR approach options only for this end of the runway. There's also a note on the chart that says civilian aviation traffic must use runway 06 as the primary landing runway between the hours of 10 PM and 7 AM local time, and runway 24 as the primary takeoff runway unless otherwise directed by air traffic control. And these regulations do not apply during GA training when flying over the aerodrome in the traffic pattern. So airline flights into and out of this airport after 10 PM at night, you've got to land on 06, and if you're leaving, it's got to be a takeoff on 24. But as you can see, Adrien's got it all correct. The runway lighting, the approach lights, PAPIs, everything as per the chart with regards to the runways. So no jetways at this airport, so let's get down proper on the ground here and have a look and see just what sort of a job Adrien has done at his first attempt at this airport. Okay, so here we are then. It's just after midday. We start the daytime tour. We're at the southwest, sort of western end of the airfield. There you can see the runway 06 threshold, and to the right we have apron 4, the military apron 4. So let's start a low-level tour where we'll have a look at what's on offer and look at the detail. You can see the runways and taxiways here, all nicely done. There's the windsock. And one of the first things I notice about this is it fits in really well with the default terrain. Just looks really good. Little bits and pieces here on the airport that enhance it ever so slightly. You do have blue airfield edge lights, which we'll see as the sun area goes down. Now here you've got apron 3, which is also fully developed both landside and airside. And now we come up to the two main terminals, APRON 1 and 2. As you can see, considerable amount of work's been done. There's my aircraft sitting on one of the stands. And here we come up to the GA area, which has also been nicely done. And here you can see the perimeter fence, complete with the razor wire. Don't see that in too many sceneries, even though it's a mandatory requirement. Having spent nearly 40 years in airport security, I'm fully aware of the regulations regarding fence line protection on Category 6 and 7 airports, such as Heathrow, Gatwick and this airport too. The fence line must be 2.9 meters high with a crank neck, set into concrete or set into ground, with a clearway either side of the fence up to 3 meters, and razor wire on top. And as you can see, they've got it right here. So runway 24 threshold there to the right, and a few military jockeys. We'll have a look at the military apron. Apron 3 is split into 2 sections, and there below you can see taxiway signage. But once again, plenty of detail here. Various open hangars and things for you to explore. There's an F-18 Hornet inside one of them. But the whole place sits in a really nice location. Lovely trees everywhere. It's typical Finland. And here's the other part of the hangar. Various F-18s and military helicopter there. And as you can see, extensive work has been carried out on these areas that you probably wouldn't look at unless you were military inclined. Very nicely done, I think. And as you can see, all the roads, even well out to landside here, have all been done in 3D. Nothing left to photo reel. So let's have a close-up look at the main ramp. There's the control tower. It's kind of parallaxed inside, as are most of the windows here. No internal development in the terminal, but then this is Adrian's first scenery. But as you can see, the detail is really good. There's nothing really been left to chance here. In terms of what you need as pilots, everything's here. Loads of clutter, all of it correct. There's my Airbus A320, the Phoenix, my livery. Modelling is great, and as you can see, there's some weathering on some of the buildings as well. So here's part of the GA apron. As you can see, plenty of Cessnas and clutter all around. And it all looks pretty nice. It's sort of clean and nicely modelled. Very nicely done. We've got a helicopter down there too. So let's have a look at land side of the terminal complex. As you can see, lots of cars, various bits of clutter and stuff all over the place, all a bit nicely done. Car parks are pretty good, and the car can't see any of the cars out of place. And there you can see the entrance road into the airport. There's the terminal complex, the land side. Various road signs. I mean, it all looks pretty impressive, really. It's very nicely done. So here's the control tower. So you can't see anything inside. The inside is modelled as a structure, but there's nothing in there. And you've got one or two hangars and the fuel farm there. So just to look at some of the taxiway signage there, you can see the blue airfield edge lights that I talked about, because there's no green centerline lighting, so you'll be using those to stay within the taxiway boundaries. But as you can see, the signage is nice. They're all on plinths as they should be, and you've got these wonderful concrete textures which he's used as well, which is really good. So here's a daytime view from the flight deck. We're inside the Phoenix A320. We're on stand Bravo 3, and this is the daytime view out of the front. This is the captain's view. And looking out across the first officer's window. The Iceland Air aircraft, just ignore those, they've been put there by FSLTL, not part of the scenery. But as you can see, quite an extensive product. It looks really good. All of the markings that are required there on the ground for the stands, I mean, it's great. I have no problem with it at all. So let's lower the lighting to dusk and have a look at the lighting around here. So 9:05 in the evening local time, and the lights came on about maybe 1 or 2 minutes ago. And this is the view of the main ramp here, and as you can see, all the lighting is just as it should be. Can't see any Asobo globes. The taxiway signage is lit. You've got the blue airfield edge lights denoting the airport boundary and taxiways. The ramp area is actually quite nicely lit. Shouldn't have any problems going in and out of the ramp. There you've got some lighting on the GA area, not a lot, but just enough to satisfy you, I should think. Runway 24 threshold over there. And there we're looking at the military apron to the southeast, military apron 3, you've got some lighting. And looking to the north there, the threshold of runway 06. And here you've got apron 3, all nicely lit up as well. So let's get down to the ramp and see what we can see. First of all, here's the view from the flight deck, and here you can see evidence of the parallaxing on the windows of the terminal, which looks quite good actually from here, and I think it gives the right impression of immersion. Once again, the captain's side, and there you got the view looking through the first officer's window. So we'll start with a few close-up shots of the ramp area, airside of the terminal. Here you can see my aircraft parked. Now here's a look at the one of the terminals here, and you can see the parallaxing. It's not of a really high resolution, but to a great extent it works pretty well. Here the resolution is a bit higher and looks looks better. This is Terminal 2 obviously. And there's looking at the other direction, it's all of a lower resolution. I'd like to see it all done at the high res actually, in terms of improvement, but it's a nice, it works, it's perfectly okay. And once again, just to look at some of the clutter here and the way that it's all lit. Nice to see some of the parked vehicles with lights on as well. Here's apron 1, the other terminal. Again, the parallaxing looks pretty good from this distance, it looks okay. Remember, this is Adrian's first scenery, he's not really developed anything before now, so I think this is looking pretty good for a first attempt. And there you can see you've got a bit of lighting around the control tower, nothing much to write home about. And there's a view looking back across the ramp. So let's have a little tour landside here at dusk. You can see some really nice lighting. So there's a globe there, but You know, it's nice. It's been done really nicely. Really does look good. You know, it's another airport that comes to life a bit after dark. It just looks good. We've got some Asobo globes floating around now, and I assume at some point Adrian will, as his skills improve, he'll learn how to obscure those and get them out of the way, because you don't need them. So go across the top of the hangars here into airside, passing over the GA area. And it looks fine, it really does. Just a little bit of lighting here, nothing much to talk about as such here. And there's an overview of the main airport ramp here for civilian traffic at dusk, and it looks nice. The lighting does look very nice indeed. Taxiway signage is all nicely lit. I think this is actually access for the fire and other emergency vehicles, not for aircraft. And once again, you've got signage for the military area too. So a quick pass over the military area. You've got some lighting, not a lot, mostly by the vehicles here. It looks to be a little bit more here, but this is dusk, remember. And here's the main part of the military hangar. It's military apron 1 and 2, which does appear to have some decent lighting. Very nice. So the military guys are taken care of as well, which is good news. And a quick look at apron 3 for you. This lighting is a little bit overdone. It needs to be toned down a bit, I think, really. But again, you can see some parallaxing there, and you've got a clock. Okay, it's just checking to see whether the clock actually works, but it isn't. It's showing 10 past 10 in the evening, and here we're showing just 16 minutes past 9, so it's not working. But other than that, it looks great. And there's the same building from landside. Okay, so let's shut it down to night time now and see what the effect is. Okay, 10:30 in the evening local time, and at this point any landings must be made on runway 06 and any departures on runway 24 up until 7 AM. The lighting's come up, as indeed we expect it to, but everything's still pretty good to find your way around. You'll need your nose gear light to some extent to taxi up between the blue airfield edge lights to find your way to the stand. But it looks pretty good. There you can see runway 24 threshold. There you've got the military area, and you can still see some sort of edges of sunset. Remember, we're in Finland, it's summer, it's August 2024, so they tend to have daylight last quite a lot longer up here. There's runway 06 threshold in the distance, along with military apron 4, and to the right there you've got apron 3 that we just looked at. Once again, a quick look from the flight deck. This is what you see if you pull up at this time of night. And it's very nice, no real complaints. I mean, it looks great. There's a close-up shot of the ramp. There's my aircraft parked. Once again, a good look at the windows. To be honest, this low res on the left there looks a lot better when it's at night time. Seems to come up more, and it looks a bit better. But to be honest, Adrian, if you're watching this, it'd be nice to have You're going to parallax in the way here and not do the inside of the terminal, which is perfectly acceptable. I like to see this done at the same resolution as this is. It looks better. The higher the resolution, the more realistic it looks in terms of parallaxing. But for a first attempt at a scenery, this is impressive. It really is. A little bit of brightness that probably needs to be taken care of here and here. It's probably just a little over bright. And I imagine as long as Adrian's skills improve, he'll be able to tone these down and really adjust the lighting. The landside looks quite nice. As you can see, the cars are all in their slots. Nothing's been literally thrown at the scenery, which is something I really like. And nice to see good signage as well. And you've got the trucks there, cargo trucks landside. And once again, you've got the road signs as well. There's the other terminal. I think as time goes on, if you want to develop this more, Adrian, I would like to see the control tower developed in terms of just internal development with a couple of controllers, and obviously dynamic lighting during the darkness hours would just make just set the scenery off, I think, really. Control towers are a very important part of the terminal and part of the airport. Here you've got animated flags, which is good. Really no real complaints. And here's a close look at the other terminal landside. Once again, it looks fine, it really does. All the cars are perfectly okay, they're all in their slots. Nothing all over the place. Local signage, barriers there, roads are 3D. A quite acceptable parallaxing on the terminal here. But yeah, you know, it's great. It's perfectly good. So that was night time, and if I'm in the right position, let's bring the dawn up and see how it looks. Okay, 6:50 in the morning local time, and as you can see, the sun's coming up. Lights went out a few minutes ago, and here you can see the glow on the buildings and on the two aircraft that are parked here. And here you can still see we've got some lighting landside that's still on, but it all looks really nice, really does. And there's the sun coming up in the east, and we're looking across there towards the GA apron in the distance. And just a final look through the flight deck at dawn. And as we look at the airside terminal through the captain's window close up there, you can see the parallaxing has really kind of gone out, really. I'm really hoping that Adrian will improve this and work on it and improve the parallaxing. And certainly don't expect him to model the inside of the terminal with all the bells and whistles right now. This is his first project, and I think it's really good. Okay, 9:15 in the morning local time, and time to give you my thoughts and conclusions. Firstly, congratulations Adrian on your first scenery. It's good. No problem at all in saying that. It's a nice little project. As I said before, I don't think anybody else has done Tampere-Pirkkala yet for FlightSim 2020, so this is a first. And it's nice. It's a really nice project. Is it worth 11 quid, 12 pounds or 13 euros, just under $15? Yes, I think it is. Again, quite a bit of work has been done. There are other sceneries that just don't fit into the terrain that well, but for a first project this looks really good. All of the markings you need for pilot's airside are there, and they're all clear, and it's all been nicely tidily done. Things like this, for example, where it fits in with the grass, and you've got the little nuances in terms of pathways. The runway itself is also textured and custom modelled, and loads of airside clutter, much of it exactly where it should be. You know, it's great. It really is. I think it's lovely. Things that I would like to see in terms of improvement: I'd like to see the control tower modelled. As I said, it's an important part of the airfield. I'd also like to see the parallaxing that's been done to be of a higher resolution, because it looks better. And certainly when you get to dusk and night time, or or dawn, when Adrian gets control of the lighting and how he manages it, then he can tone the lighting down where it needs to be and improve it so that when you're looking at parallax windows you get some kind of light or some kind of illusion. I'm sure that will come. But as it stands, an airport that can use, that you can fly into, that nobody else has done yet, and it's just under $15 or just over £11. I think it's really good. The price is right, and I really hope that he does well. Just not one of these people out for profit. Adrian's actually trying to help support the costs of his studies, which I think is a really good thing to do. So yeah, I have no problems in recommending the scenery. Very, very nice for a first project, and congratulations to Adrian for what he's achieved. Really, really nice. And I say, I hope he looks at the things that I've talked about, and it'd be nice to see improvements coming along as well in version 1.2. So there you are, folks. It's Tampere-Pirkkala Airport in northern Finland, Echo Foxtrot Tango Papa. It's a payware scenery, the very first effort from Adrien Seppanen, and he's known as the Rudolph on Flightsim.to. This is the release version 1 for both the PC and for Xbox as well, so kudos for making it available to run on Xbox. Download at 285 meg, just over 285 meg, and it installs at 405 meg, so it's not huge, won't take up huge amounts of room on your community folder, which is great. It's currently available only from Flightsim.to. Check the description for the link to take you direct to the scenery. The price is £11.22, which equates to roughly €13.17 or $14.54 US. Now the euro and the US prices are estimates taken from the UK pound, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course can vary depending on where you are when you make your purchase. No hesitation at all in recommending the scenery. Really, really nice project. No problem at all. So thanks for watching, folks. I hope this has helped you and introduced you to something a little bit new. Stay tuned. We're going to be looking at St. Calvi Catherine Airport on the island of Corsica. It's a French airport on the island of Corsica. Scenery has come out. There's actually two versions. We'll be looking at the version by FSX3D, not to be confused with the simulation FSX or P3D, that's just the name of the developing team. So I'll be looking at that, which I think is the better of the two versions, and you can see what you think. That's coming later this week. For those of you that are interested as well, I have solved the issue with XCODR Design's Denver scenery. That now works. There are lots that I like about that and lots that I don't like, so I will try to find time to do a review on that. It's a big project, so we'll sort that out at some point. But thanks for joining me, guys. Have a good week, have safe flights, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye bye for now.